Hello everyone, it is me, Blade Kid, and we are going to be getting into the next part of the tier list. So starting off, if you haven't seen the last one, check out that. But here we go. So the first part we are going to be covering is 410 tier. And let's start out. These Beyblades are going to be ones with kind of niche uses that like are outclassed and just aren't very good. The ones were unlimited, you could like almost get away with using them in certain situations, but like still not really. They're outclassed. If you're really competitive, you're not gonna want to use these Beyblades. So the first Beyblade in this tier is Crusher Doomsizer. Keep in mind these aren't ordered. None of the tiers are ordered unless I say they're ordered, which this one is not. Crusher Doomsizer's one thing is like okay anti-attack. It doesn't have anything good going for it. It has decent, like very decent attack. And by very decent, I mean like it's just so mediocre. Not good, not like horrible. It's just doesn't have the firepower. I'd say it's a little bit. It's on the level of Genesis Valtryek, but this Beyblade has better defenses, and I think slightly better stamina. It's not by much. This thing is pretty unbalanced too. But the one thing, it can do decent anti-attack against some of the other Beyblades. It's not gonna work against something like Buster, but it may work against other things that have worse burst resistance. Next up, we have Tempest Wyvern, which, it's just okay defense, okay stamina. Stamina's okay for a defense type. It's not like an okay stamina. Has objectively pretty bad stamina, but it's not like Kinetic Saturn levels of stamina. It's not that bad. It's just it doesn't have any attack. But it has, best thing is defense, but even then it's still outclassed defense-wise. So it's just mediocre and not very good. Its best thing is probably, as I said, defense. And it's weird, because, like, you gotta launch it in a way where it's not really making full contact with the opponent Beyblade. If you can do that, it has okay defense. But it's still, like, outclassed if the opponent is correct and does things right. Next up, we have Crash Reactivore, probably the best one in this tier. Its stamina is pretty decent. Its attack is okay. The only problem with it is its burst resistance is so bad. It's kind of like, I think it's a little bit worse than Berserk Reactivore, which is really not good. But it's an upgrade in every other sense. Its best thing is probably, if it's like tall, it's good at destabilizing. Just because the two contact points next to like where the wings should be, and the sloping down contact points where like the metal should be. If you know what I'm saying, you may not, but it has that edge at least. But it's the burst resistance keeps it in this tier 100%. Next is going to be Shelter Regulus. It is a perfect balance type. It is perfectly bad at everything. Not the Achilles bad at everything, but it's just like its attack isn't very good. Neither is its defense. Its stamina is probably its worst thing. I just think it's just so subpar at everything that it's outclassed, even in a balanced type situation. Next is going to be Orb on Guard, which it has pretty good stamina and it's good at getting under things. Like it can destabilize things that are taller than it, kind of. Its main thing is defense in general. It's got really bad KO defense, it gets knocked out really easily because it's light, and burst defense is really bad too. Stamina and the stabilization are its best thing. But even the stamina is pretty subpar. I'd say that burst resistance is a little bit worse than Tempest Wyvern, but not by much. It's not like a big deal. But it just keeps his Beyblade really mediocre. Next Beyblade, final one in this tier, is Alto Cognite. I was debating whether to put it in the 310 tier. But I just think it doesn't belong there. Its defense, it's kind of like a weird Blaze Ragnarok kind of thing. Its attack's not very good though. It has decent stamina. The only thing it's bad is defense. It's subpar defense. It's a little bit worse than Tempest Wyvern. But it's not like that bad. But its stamina is definitely its best thing, even though it doesn't have very good stamina. It's kind of like Shelter Regulus if Shelter Regulus didn't have attack and it had better defense than stamina. And also better balanced if it's in balanced mode. Unbalanced mode, we don't really talk about it. It's just strictly worse, basically. Because this thing doesn't have very good mobile attack, or stationary attack. So that was 4 out of 10. Let's get on to 5 out of 10. So these Beyblades in 5 out of 10, they're like okay. They're just all outclassed, basically. This would be this and the 2 below it, and maybe the 2 above. Yeah, these 3 tiers, they would be about mid tier. Maybe 410 being low tier, along with 310. But it's just all the same. It doesn't really matter. First one in 510 is Shining Amatarios. Stamina, a bit better than Tempest Wyvern. They're nothing to get happy about. Defense, slightly better than Tempest Wyvern. It's like an upgraded Tempest Wyvern with even less attack somehow. Just because the little claws on the layer prevent it from having any good same spin attack. Opposite spin game is decent though. I'd give it that. It has good opposite spin. Next is Geist Fafnir. It's just, why would you use this over like Fafnir F3 or like Balkesh is gonna be banned in limited, but like in standard Balkesh, it's just, why would you use this? And same with the next pick, which is Left Apollos. It has good defense, like I'll give it that. But even then, it's not even as good as Fafnir. So like, why would you use this or Fafnir F4 over Fafnir F3 in limited? I just feel like they're both kind of in the same boat as like left spin bays. I do think Geist is slightly better, stamina wise, and Apollos is slightly better. Astros is slightly better defense wise. But even still, they're just both not very good. Next is Oi Chowcum. And this is kind of, it's weird. It's like Shining Amatarios with better stamina and worse defense. Attack is pretty similar, I'd say. But that doesn't really matter in this case. Its burst gimmick doesn't really help it, actually. It doesn't do anything. It's still really easy to burst. Though it's a nice chunky layer, I'd say. It's got good stamina. Well, not good, but like decent stamina. Next up, Vice Leopard. Bad attack, pretty bad stamina. But the main thing is it has defense. It's a pretty good defense type, all things considered. In limited, it could be used as like a weird defensive side grade if you're looking for pure defense. And things like K4 may be banned. But I just think right now, in limited, it is outclassed by K4 and even 3 other bays I'll mention in the next tier. Now we have a weird one, Air Knight. Bad defense, bad stamina, bad attack, it gets knocked around because of its weird shape and bigness. It's light as well. The one thing it has going for it is opposite spin game. And in my opinion, it has the best opposite spin game tied with Blast Genius for Hasbro right now. Like, I feel like if you know your opponent is going with, like, something unaggressive Lord Spriggan, you could go Air Knight on, like, OO Wall Dimension Dash S and, like, beat them. Just because this thing has such good opposite spin game. Unfortunately, though, that's not enough to give it, like, a very high ranking. It's still really bad. And in Limited, it's going to be just as bad. Maybe a little bit better, but pretty much just as bad. Next up, we have, in the final one in this tier, is Legend Spryzen. In the last two list, it was top 2, the best Beyblade in my opinion. But that's because of two things. Attack was basically dead, so most people relied on stamina combos. Mostly opposite spin, ones with a lot of lad. And this thing could freely change spin directions, 1 per match. Which gave it the edge. So basically, you put this on 0, 0, or 0 wall bearing, and you could basically switch spin directions and beat anything in the game. Pretty much anything in the game. I know I beat Hell Salamander with it. If you have a good enough bearing, you can. But since Judgment, Zwei, and stuff are out now, to cover, like, attack, the attack is, like, its big weakness. Anything that's decent at attack can just wreck this Beyblade. I know I was, at Anime North, and I was with my friend Flash, and he was using, like, Grand Dragon stock, and he just bodied me 3-0 in, like, a practice battle, because this Bey is so easy to knock out. Also, K recently had the rule change where you can no longer switch spin directions on Legend Spriggan. Legend Spryzen, I mean. So it's basically useless now. In Limited, though, decent attack. It's good attack. Probably the second or third best in the game. I just don't think it justifies it going up a tier. Because of the base in the next tier. Speaking of the next tier, 610. Let's get into it. So this is going to be what I would consider, like, high tier for Limited. Still mid tier for Standard, though. First off, we have Breaker Excalius. It has, like, one big flaw, and that's consistency. Its attack is really good when it works. Like, this thing can, like, beat Ultra Hercules, and stuff like that. It can do a lot of damage. But the problem is, its consistency. It's more than half the time. Like, 75% of the time, when you launch this Beyblade, it will not work. And, like, that's on top of, like, the chance of you messing up the launch. Like, even if you get a good launch, there's a 75% chance this Beyblade's not gonna work, and you're just gonna lose. So, like, why? And it's completely outclassed now by another Beyblade I'll get into later. Probably in the next video. Next Beyblade is Surge Excalius. As I said, non-ordered tiers, so it's take your pick between these two, attack-wise. X3, it's way more consistent, but it's a lot worse attack-wise. It's still got good attack. Limited, this is probably going to be, like, top 2, top 3 attack-wise. Depending on what gets banned or not. But it's a very, like, honest Beyblade, I'd say. If you're good with this Beyblade in Limited, you will be good. If you're not, you're gonna not be good. It's good on stationary attack, and it's good on stationary knockout attack, which is something that's very rarely seen. This thing can burst things decently. Its only big flaw is that I feel it doesn't have the best burst resistance it could have. If it had better, it'd probably be a tier above, but I can't justify it with the burst resistance, even though it's not a huge deal. It's just some things, some anti-attacks are going to be able to beat it. Speaking of anti-attack, next we have Kalzar K3. I say this is the best, if not the second best anti-attack in limited. Standard, no way, it's not gonna work at all. I don't even think anti-attack is really a thing in the standard right now. But yeah, so it has not the best stamina. Pretty bad stamina actually, but if you use something like Atomic, you can slightly mitigate that. KO defense isn't the best, and its attack isn't really that good either. But you put it in a burst defense situation or an anti-attack situation, it's really good. Like, this thing basically hard counters X3. Because it can usually stay in the stadium and, like, trade blows with X3. And its smooth shape gives it, like, pretty good defense at, like, warding away attacks. Not only that, when this Beyblade gets, like, halfway, the claws will come out and give it, like, an even better counter attack, which will, like, finish off any would-be attackers. Obviously, if this Bey gets knocked out, it's never good. I just think it's the best anti-attack for Hasbro right now. And, unfortunately, it's not gonna work against Judgment Uzbai, sadly. Next Bey we have is Revive Phoenix, and I'm gonna have Revive and Phoenix, like Revive and Dead and Perfect, but I'm not gonna show Perfect. I'm just gonna talk about Revive and Dead at the same time, just like I talked about Fafnir and Astros at the same time. They're both good defense-wise in limited, and they both have pretty good stamina in limited. But unfortunately, I just think they're not as good as some of the other picks that may be in. No. If like, K4 is banned, they'll probably be the best defense-wise. Maybe not. We'll have to see about that. But I do think these guys, they're not gonna survive in standard, but in limited, they may have a chance. And finally, in this tier, and the last one we're going to be covering in this video, is Archer Hercules. It's basically like you took the Phoenixes and traded off a little bit of defense for more stamina and the lack of the stupid armor gimmick. Without the armor gimmick, it's able to stay very consistent compared to the Phoenixes. And it still has good defense, mind you. So it's really good defense. It can still beat things like Legend Splizin, but it may have trouble with things, or one thing that's higher on the list, if it's allowed in limited. I don't know. I feel like even if the other thing is banned, it's just not really going to change my opinions. But yeah, I just think Archer Hercules is, I wouldn't say the best in this tier. I think that actually goes to Kalza because it's the best anti-attack. And given the circumstances, it could be moved up a tier, but I just don't feel right about doing that right now. But yeah, Archer, it's just a good defense stamina type, though it is outclassed by K4, unfortunately. But yeah, that's basically it. That was 410 through 610. Stay tuned for the last episode. We're going to be covering 7 through 10. It's probably going to be a longer video than this one, though. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't, check out the thread I have on it that has the tier list. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't be spoiled. Don't check it out and ruin the thing. But yeah. Check out the thread. It details a lot of things, and it gives feedback, or you can give me feedback on it better than the comment section. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.